Hello, everyone. My name is Dean Conley. I'm here with my partner, Dr. David Farkas. Dr. Farkas, how are you?
Doing well. Excited to be with you for another podcast.
Yeah, we're going to
Video
go.
cast,
This
whatever
is
we're
going to be
calling it.
video number. Is it
Video.
eight or
This is
nine?
number 8. Yep,
Okay.
number 8.
This is kind of I guess, a video short. These are
Yes.
just questions that I haven't told Dr. Farkas this question yet. I'm going to put him on the spot,
Huh?
and then I'll share mine with me, and then he'll do that with me maybe next week or something like
All
that.
right. This is new. This is uncomfortable. I like it.
But this is a little bit fun too.
Okay.
We don't want all of our stuff to be so heavy that we get lost in all of that.
Okay.
All right. In your opinion, what are the most overused statements in education?
The one statement that always comes to mind is, this is what's best for students or kids, right? And it's like anyone can say it for almost any situation. And
That's
then,
my number two. It's my number two. That's
yeah,
why I'm laughing.
it's unbelievable. It's like, yeah, that's what we're always trying to do, but you got to go a little deeper when you say something like that. And
Yeah.
people don't, and they expect you to just back off. But it's like, I can't even use it sometimes, even when I'm supposed to say, looking out for all the students. But I have to be careful not to say that phrase because it drives me crazy.
Yeah. You know what I think is funny about that too is people sometimes say it in meetings to like make a point. Like, I'm going to make my point, and I'm going to say this is best for students. And I don't know that you talking louder makes that any clearer. What I think about, with that is, how about when someone says, well, research says, pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, research.
Don't bring the research statement up unless you have the research.
Yeah. I remember you said that a little while back. It makes sense.
Yeah, because all of a sudden someone wants to pretend like they're smarter than everybody else because they read these research. No, you didn't. There's research that says the earth is flat. Okay, stop it with your research. Anything, everyone's an expert now. It's what's best for kids.
Yeah.
Based on what?
Well, it was my first year in this position, which was a couple years ago, and I was at the county meeting where there's other superintendents that I was just figuring out who they were, what their names are, right? It was that early. And then two of them get into it, like a pretty solid, it wasn't loud, but it was definitely an argument. And I'm like, I thought these guys were kind of buddies. And they start getting into a decision, and they start using this is best for kids. And I was new, so I had to keep my mouth closed. But I wanted to, like, after 5 minutes of listening to it, say, neither of these need you to say this is best for kids. You both have some points that are good and some points that maybe need some work. But bringing up this is best for kids has nothing to do with either of your points.
Yeah.
But you're using that to try to win some weird fight in front of a bunch of us. It was bizarre.
Yeah, it's almost a little high schoolish. Like, no one's keeping score. There's no scoreboard here.
Yeah.
We're here to do what we think is best for the community of schools, right? Give us your opinion and then move on. Like, vote however you want, right?
And I often say, because this is just how we, have to deal with this kind of thing, is somebody brings it up. Okay, I see what you're saying. And then for your perspective and that narrow situation, it is best for those kids. But what about all kids? Is there something better that's best for all kids? And if that's the case, what are we doing, right? So that's kind of where I say, is it best for kids or is it best for all kids, and what makes it different?
No, I like that distinction. I never heard you say that before, and I've never heard that before, because your goal is what's best for most kids.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just a specific subgroup, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's really a different viewpoint. As a principal, I'm hoping you're looking after all your kids at the school site. As a superintendent, you're looking at all kids, even the kids that are at the continuation school that are struggling to graduate. What's best when you make decisions for all your kids at all your schools, so it's not just one quick based on a small group. That's important. And then, of course, parents. Your job is to parent the best you can to bring that baby all the way up to graduate and become a young adult and a productive citizen. But you also have to think our schools are looking out for not just your kid, but all kids. And it becomes a little bit of a trouble spot sometimes for people that don't like the answer no. And that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to work through. We have
Which
a couple
might be the reason they're bringing that up, right? They don't like you to know.
And I get it. It's not selfish to care about your kid first, but when you come into my office and you want to fight about that, we have to look for all kid solutions too.
Sure. I like that. What else? You want to go? You got another one or you want me to go? Because Best for Kids was on my list.
Yeah, I just went. It was your turn, right?
Okay.
Did you use one yet?
No, I kind of did, the research test thing too. But
I like that one. Yeah.
Those are both kind of, but I'll go again. This one is also drives me nuts. And it's a newer one, maybe 2020 post-COVID is, practice self-care. That is one of the most important things that we should do, and one of the most comical statements that is made in education. Everybody says, practice self-care, and then that's the beginning of the year, put your oxygen mask on first. Listen, that all sounds great, but that doesn't happen. No one checks in to say, are you practicing self-care? Or, hey, we're going to extend this deadline, or we're going to move this program to act. No one takes anything off your plate, right?
You're right. It's kind of out of your lane as a school administrator to tell people to practice self-care if you're not really providing those opportunities. I think we just go back to how do you traditionally take care of your staff to say, start your weekend early. We're not having a Friday meeting, right?
Yeah.
Those kind of things that you treat them, right? Or, hey, this is a professional development. Spend another 20 minutes with your friend at lunch. We'll start at 1 instead of 12:30. Things like that, right?
And if you're an administrator that listens to this and you think that that's offensive, I would challenge you to say, give me a list of what you've done for your teachers to practice self-care. Because if they're not right, then the kids' scenario and environment isn't going to be optimal. Teachers will handle a lot. They can handle a lot of stress and management and pressure and all that stuff. They're in it every day. They're in a cauldron. But you say practice self-care, but you add 3 things to their plate every year.
Yeah. And that's what you always say. If you're adding something, what are you taking off?
No doubt.
And what would you say as a teacher to avoid the principal from being a hypocrite and saying practice self-care? What would you rather hear? Something like we're canceling a meeting because we don't need it?
I would love to see an administrator say something like this at the beginning of the year in August. I'm going to make a conscious effort to check up on everyone to make sure they're practicing self-care and taking care of themselves.
Okay.
By the end of August, send me a list of ways that you think I could help. And then once a month, and that's still anemic, but once a month, do something that takes something off teachers' plates. Like you said, no staff meeting this month.
Yeah.
It takes you nothing to add. It takes you maybe another hour to type an email up that you can send to your staff. But now people don't have to get childcare. They don't have to they could just go home after school.
Yeah.
That little on a PD day. Take that time to work on what you need to work on. You're not going to be working on personal things. You're going to be working on things you need to get ready for kids when they come back on Monday.
Yeah. Well, or you have the relationship with your supervisor to where a teacher goes up and says, hey, boss, is there any way on Tuesday and Thursday mornings we can play some basketball in the gym for 30 minutes? And then we're going to shower up and get ready for first period. That's probably our best way to exercise. So we got a group of us that are going to want to, and then, well, it's like, thanks for checking. Of course, we're going to make that happen so you can exercise with your colleagues and have fun.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's just a small example, but it's true. Right?
Makes tons of sense. Yeah. And if I was administrator there, Dave, all I would say is, hey, if you're going to start at 7 and you think you're going to be done at 7:30, that's cutting it short. Why don't you guys start at 6:45 so you got plenty of time and you're not rushed?
Yep.
Yeah. Why would you do that?
Yeah. Or we're going to have an after-school yoga group with the teachers, and can we get this room reserved or whatever? Of course.
Yeah. Right? Seems easy.
Yeah, those are the examples of how an administrator could support healthcare without being the hypocrite that says, practice self-care. I need your grades tomorrow. I need you to be on time here. and I need you to do these 3 other tasks. Like you can't say practice self-care and then bomb them with more directives.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you would find the climate of a building would change and take a couple months because everyone would be like a little skeptical. Is this really going to happen? And then by January, you'd have teachers saying, how can we help you? Yeah. Thanks for recognizing that we don't need a lot, but we need a little bit. How can we help you? So now if you want to try a new initiative for the next year, you could say, hey, I really need someone to sit on this committee. I'm in. I can do it.
How about the tiny little gesture of, yeah, I'm bringing for staff meeting some donuts, some Starbucks box coffee, but I'm also bringing some green tea because I know 7 of you don't want coffee anymore. So here's some side green tea. Yeah. Little things, right? It's not an everyday delivery. It's just for the staff meeting because 4 of them they want the green tea instead of the coffee.
Yeah.
So those things. I have one quick one, but it's really all over the place and it's more on the negative side. So I'm not going to dwell on it, but when people don't quite get what they're looking for, especially in my current situation where they're like, oh, that decision is based on it's unfair or it's your bias. And it's like, that's almost like the first one where you're using it's best for kids to kind of, now you're going to use unfair and bias and you're going to use some weak example that had nothing to do with the same decision that you got, but you want to drag other names into it so that you can prove that the administrator is picking on you. It's like, no. And that's also where we go back to the why. Even though that person maybe makes smoke come out your ears when they say it's bias or unfair, you still need to spend the time to explain why the decision was made and maybe defend a little bit how you don't see it as unfair and you never would want something to be unfair for everyone. But it's painful sometimes because it's used as a weapon sometimes. That's unfair. I'm going to go tell on you to the board members.
Yeah.
So...
And your answer as administrator there just has to be, well, certainly I never intended it to be that way.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you tell people the why, like these are the reasons why I made this decision. I'm sorry you interpreted it that way, but that wasn't my intent.
Yeah. And there's also a gauge on how many times does it happen? Who are the messengers of unfair? Is it just the same 3 people? Or are you getting truly people that are hard, like you said, hardworking, risk-taking teachers that do everything for the school, and they're saying that's unfair? Well, maybe something needs to be looked at because why would they say that, right? So sure. It does depend on the messenger and what the subject is.
Yeah, so I would say that's pretty. I mean, it's really good. Obviously, Dave, you have more experience at that than me. But I would say that if someone has any other statements of the most overused statements in education, FCG and education@gmail.com, email us and we'll put together a podcast with it. I think it would be fun. Or you know what? Maybe we'll have you come on, right?
I like it.
Do that.
Yeah, we can use some guests. Send us your email. We'll include you.
All right. For Dr. David Farkas, I'm Dean Conley. Thank you very much for watching.